work.
They didn't ban Dragonshire. They didn't ban Battlefields.
And you see why. That's the undefeated record of SPT, and there's currently 2 Battlegrounds available, as Tetris said. Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity, and they have yet to lose a single map. And keep in mind, guys, those are statistics over the last 3 seasons. Ever since HGC China started in 2017, at the end of 2016 last year, they have yet to lose a map on Dragonshire and Battlefield. And KT not banning either of those is a big, bold statement.
Yeah, we're about to become... That was a clean 9-0. It's going to be very aesthetically pleasing the next time they play on this map, and we're going to see that 10-0 100%. That is going to be very aesthetically pleasing, and not so regularly pleasing for KT, as they're about to face serious trouble. At least some research has been done, though, beginning with the ban on the Genji, and this should be a first pick on a Valor or the Tassadar, as much as Tassadar can be combined with Lunara for similar effect. Valor is a hero who can give you a good comeback chance on this map, just due to the Q burst.
Absolutely, Valor can definitely keep you in the race, if you will, against those Immortals. The Hungering Arrow build still super good. And Genji, of course, taken away from Melody C. He was actually the one who surprised us quite a bit with his unorthodox Genji positioning and Genji plays when he was just leaping and jumping over the middle wall, destroying the fountain, and just retreating in the nick of time. And as a result, during the first Immortal phase, the enemy team was oftentimes, you know, left without the chance to heal themselves and rejuvenate themselves. And looks like KT is following our battle plan, our drafting strategy as well, taking away the Tassadar before Melody C can do any harm with it, and of course banning the Genji out as well. So far, so good.
So far, so good. So we're going to see some kind of Valor or Lunara, depending on what they feel like playing. Valor's obviously going to get the higher value, just due to being Valor, at least on this particular map. Used to be Lunara, but now that the Q build of Valor is so popularized and so efficient, people are very happy to be able to use that, and it works pretty well. So that's completely fine.
That's completely fine for now. What is SPT going to respond with? Yesterday, they sometimes put a little bit of focus on securing themselves an early Rehgar, because Rehgar and Uther are probably the most highly contested supports after Auriel and Tassadar are out of the race. Truth be told, they could actually take both and just put Genju under a lot of pressure. They go for the Uther because it's Genju's most preferred pick. And the Vala, super solid. To be honest though, Tetcher, okay, sorry to interrupt you, but what happened to the SPT from last phase, the phase before, that just surprised us every now and then with a Toe Zebo?
They still surprise us every now and again. They're the only team to play Cho'Gall this season.
True.
It's not surprises, they only do it when they have to. But yeah, Mid-Seasons just tweeted at me a screenshot of the pick ban map with just the words.
I saw it too.
I have this image saved as not like this.png. Well done, Mid-Seasons. Got a giggle out of me.
Definitely true. Now, I like this. I really do like this from KT. Yeah. Whenever you see an early Uther locked in, the Lunara makes a lot of sense. You basically take the Rehgar away before SPT could even potentially ban it, securing yourselves one of the top 3 supports. So far, KT's draft looks immaculate. Really, really well done.
It does look really good. Malthael's a very solid ban. It's a hero that almost all of SPT's usual drafts can struggle against, so very fair there. They don't want more poison damage.
Ooh, C-Inc hasn't actually played Lunara at all in this phase.
True. It'll be fine. Well, these are map percentages, I believe.
Yeah, these are based on the map, true. But, interesting.
So, sensible decision here. Not what I was going to say. I would have preferred them to ban Li Ming, because their biggest issue right now, they've got a really nice, solid backline. What's going to be their biggest issue? Just Rehgar going because they take too much poke damage.
To be honest, though, Tetcher, I think ETC could have caused similar problems simply due to the fact that they don't have a single interrupt up to this point. So
very true.
So maybe just shutting down the mosh pit and not running risk of getting caught by surprise is a nice safety bend, but I totally agree. The Li Ming is now still open. We saw what Melody C could do on that hero yesterday. We go for 2 comfort picks, kind of. Especially the Turiel, and Soap is definitely a hero that he excels at. I would actually say it's his best hero by far. And then we have Misaka most likely on that Sonya.
Okay, so we need some absolutely peel-heavy tanks. You may be tempted to go for something like Arthas here for KT, but the fact is, SPT are not going to slow down for something like that. They're going to just power through it, and they're going to kill your backline before Arthas is really going to get value. You need something with some really decent CC, really heavy peel. Muradin is the minimum amount of CC you should be taking if you want that, if you want to stay alive. Stitches you can probably get away with.
Stitch and Putrid Bile, yeah.
And Putrid Bile, that would be absolutely perfect. The return of a noob might be okay, even though you know the enemy team is going to pick Li Ming, but there's a very good chance that you could at least lay the Sanctification, which could get some really good value, or the Divine Shield, depending on what's coming. Probably not Artanis. Is the patch currently already on where they accidentally changed Amateur Opponent?
No, I don't think that's live. What happened to Amateur Opponent? Holy cow, I didn't even know about it.
It got nerfed from 150% to 50%.
Is that live right now?
I don't know. It's in the patch, the most recent patch, but it's unintended.
Okay, it's unintended. Gotcha,
yes.
gotcha. So I'm almost positive that this is the Kel'Thuzad release patch. So
okay, fair enough. But yes, this is correct. Like we said, they need peeling crowd control. A noob is the maximum amount of crowd control. 2 crowd control abilities, like ETC's tied with that, but lots of stuns, decent self-escape, really solid here. Yeah, Li Ming's probably going to be picked as the last pick by Early C, but that's fine. They also have managed to pick themselves a good displacement and another silence. So they, a silence. So they've put themselves in a position where they have a lot of disengage, a lot of counter engage in the form of Counter Strike. A noob could, in theory, if Li Ming is picked right now, could even just forgo the cocoon and just go straight all in for the Locust Swarm, because Sonya's going to be sitting right next to him, and we see Zarya. This is the correct response, because SPT, yeah, Li Ming's going to burn through the cocoon, but the rest of their issues is everyone else could get burst, especially Li Ming, thanks to that Alarak, so instead they pick extra protection. And
truth be told, Zarya is just really good at shredding cocoons as well if she's in range. Like, her auto attacks hit very fast. It's similar to Tracers, to Tassador's Tickle's Beam. So as long as you manage to have one of those heroes dedicate themselves to destroying cocoons, I think you're still in a decent spot. If it's just 0.1 milliseconds faster or not, normally doesn't make that big of a difference. But the Zarya, as you said, offers a lot of burst protection. She has those shields available. She will gain a lot of additional damage. She can actually abuse the fact that she gets bonus damage by absorbing tower shots very early on. She's a great sieger. We saw that last weekend when Roll20 just finished off Gale Force Esports in no time. So I really like this choice. And truth be told, I have never seen Melody C on the Zarya before. I'm really curious to see what kind of build he's going to go for.
As am I, but Zarya has just leapt up in popularity in China recently, just due to some insane plays. And most of them have been running the same build, but most of them have been on Infernal Shrines, not Battlefield, where poke is more rewarded, so there's a chance we could be reverting back to that grenade build. We will have to see, though, as right now, the amount of protection on the side of SPT is great. We did not end up seeing... we didn't end up seeing KT go for a burst build like we had said might work. Instead, they have just gone for really decent peel and just delay tactics for Lunara. They haven't just gone for the all-in, we're going to empower Lunara and hope her damage will win the game. This is, Lunara needs to live to help us win the game. So that's the comp they've gone for. Exactly.
Really excited to see Zarya. I think she's a nice niche hero whenever you need additional protection, but retaliation damage as well. And of course, we can't forget about the Expulsion Zone, offering so much zoning control over those Immortals, but is the strongest woman in the world enough to take SPT to the victory over KT in Game 1? Stay tuned to find out.
Nope, we're in. No video. Let's go.
No hype intro this time. We're fine with it. We're saving ourselves a couple of precious seconds. So without further ado, guys, let's introduce our team on the blue left-hand side. It is the super perfect team with Quencher on the Vala, Melody C on the Zarya, Misaka plays that Turiel, so plays the Sonya, and CZH plays Uther.
Whereas on the right, it is KT. Kudos top with T-Die on Tassadar, Neptune on the Alarak, Genshiro on Rhaegar, Seeing on Lunara, and Butcher is on that Anubarak. The amount of people who pop into this stream, maybe for the first time or just forget, and hear one of us and be like, and Butcher's getting the thing. They're like, oh, Butcher on the caster calls Anubarak Butcher, what noob? No,
we had that yesterday, didn't we?
We have it every day that we cast KT. Every day. We have at least one. It is standard Feel the Heat build. Or
Yeah.
it's weird to call that standard, but standard China Feel the Heat.
Yeah, Feel the Heat. Sometimes you still see the good old grenade build, especially when there's a lot of squishy backliners that you want to hit consistently. But when it comes to really dishing out the raw damage against enemy heroes, especially against low HP heroes like Nubarak, which is normally very susceptible to auto attacks, I think Feel the Heat can really ruin the Beetle's day. So I love the build. I think it's very powerful. The remaining talents will be very interesting though, because we did have the protective barrier at level 4, gaining a little bit of physical armor once the shield expires, and then we had like the explosive barrier at level 7, doing a little bit of AoE damage. That build I've never seen before, but China has made it work like a charm across all teams, basically. CE went for it. I can't remember who went for it yesterday, but a lot of teams are going for this build right now.
I doubt we're going to see at least the armor part of it today, due to the low auto attack damage, like there's Rhaegar Feral Lunge. But most of Nara's damage comes from poison. Tass Archon, maybe? No, I think VLDC is probably going to end up going for something a little bit different. I doubt he'll go for the armor shield.
Probably speed barrier. I think it's still a very solid talent. Sometimes give me 20 is actually not that bad if you really need the burst protection. But speaking of burst protection, Genjo could have needed a little some, but he falls in the end and gets taken out. First blood goes over to SPT.
Very nice job by SPT picking up that first blood. Tassadar is down here in a what we would call a rough lane. Neptune's up here in currently a rough situation. See, it gets turned on, and he is the one who is taken out now. Butcher and SPT, perfect targeting, picking themselves up 2 kills at this early stage. They already got one a little bit earlier, and they moved down to the enemy Immortal.
Wow, Melody C just roasted a little bit of venison, a little bit of beetle. I think he's having it all with his juicy laser beam here. Beautifully done, and that's of course the danger. That's the threat potential that a fully charged, even a semi-charged Zarya can dish out if she has those harder hitting auto attacks. And here's like the Nara or Rhaegar, they should truly avoid to even get close to melee range. And unfortunately, KT absolutely getting dominated here, not being able to dish out a single point of damage onto the enemy Immortal because they're so occupied with defending their own.
Now they are, however, we have Rhaegar is the one attempting to solo the Immortal, while Tassadar is staying near the lane, poking down, trying to defend his Immortal.
Swap.
Good telekinesis, doubly into the stun, and the Task Storm getting some good value. Neptune kept alive via the shield. They're turning around and they are dealing some good damage, but so far they do not have Splinter Spear, or even level 4, actually. So Katie, not the best scenario, but they are holding. The amount of disruption that they can do is working, but grenades over the wall, Vala arrows. There's only one way this can go, which is a question of how long they wanted to wait.
That was so sneakily done by Quan Xiao and the Vala as well, positioning himself in that hidden choke point where it is impossible for the enemy team to see him unless they have something like scouting drones or the Oracle up. So dropping that arrow, and then of course we had the Holy Radiance and a couple of grenades finishing the deal. So beautifully done by SPT. They secure themselves a mighty healthy Immortal and to push alongside with. And as we predicted, Tesher, the speed barrier coming in for Zarya at level 4, providing a juicy 50% movement speed on the shielded target.
As unpredicted, Leeching Plasma coming in for Tassadar. Like, it kind of affects Seeing, but personally I think Colorless Light almost always gets more value because Dinara doesn't attack that often or really that hard. Like I said, most of her damage comes from poison.
Exactly, and especially when C-Ink is getting focused like that because he's stepping a little bit too close to the enemy team, then the shield is going to break very fast, and as such the Callous Embrace is not going to give you any value whatsoever, whereas the Callous Light would have still given him 15 armor for a couple of seconds. So a little bit debatable. Let's see how much of an impact it's actually going to have on the game, but I can tell you something, Tetcher. SPT, they're not taking any prisoners today. They're going here for the kill right off the get-go. 7-5 already the lead after only 4 minutes and 35.
So, interesting builds to continue with, for starters, Adarax go for full lightning. That's not too out of the ordinary. We'll still sometimes see the Chaos Rains from now and again. But the other build I wanted to talk about is Sonya, finally differentiating from what we have seen just every time with the Poison Spear. Composite Spear, the 30% extra range on the spear.
Interesting. And you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense here. If you have so many elusive and kiting backliners like Lunara, you also have the Tassadar, even the Aurek normally tends to have a pretty decent range to the Sonya. So, speaking of Sonya, by the way, Soap is just wrecking people left and right, reinforced by his teammates. And oh boy, SPT just establishing absolute map dominance. And I don't want to disrespect KT here in any way, shape, or form, but it looks like to me they're helpless. They don't even know what to do.
They are flailing. You can see that spear landing, seeing. You thought you were safe. You're always in range now. As he is trying to micro backwards. But he's still sticking with the rest of the build. The explosive barrier doesn't actually get any value there, but it's prepared for team fights as Seeing gets dropped down to half health.
Dude, that long spear though, it's crazy. It's crazy. Soap can reach target that no Sonya before him could have hoped to reach here, putting so much pressure on Seeing as well. And I love how SPT is turning things around here. Normally, the team that has the likes of Alrek, the likes of Lunara, they're the ones poking the enemies down, right? With those constant lightnings and the poison. Oh my goodness, speaking of lightnings, Quinn Zhao, a little bit unfortunate here. But I like what SPT is doing, except for this little slip up here. They're the ones bringing the poke towards the enemy team. Quinn Zhao dropping those arrows all the time. The grenades hitting like trucks because Zarya, for some miraculous reason, is always fully charged up. Like, KT can't even get close to poking.
They really, really can't. And as such, we're seeing this time ADC able to dodge the Immortal Stun, does get silenced, though Soap is in trouble now. Remember, this spear upgrade does give him more energy, more fury, so he is actually able to whirlwind and hammer a little bit more often, even though he has gone for a full auto attack build. Shield, is it available? Is it available? No, not available.
Big kills here now, slowly but surely coming in for KT, but that doesn't change the fact that the heroic abilities are so close for SPT. Now Anub a little bit in trouble. Beautiful swap. Nice follow-up combo by Alrek. He's turning it up, and Quinn Zhao is most likely going to fall here. Another kill for SPT, or against SPT, excuse me, and they're getting a little bit staggered here, Tetcher. What is going on?
Quinn Zhao dropped crazy damage onto Lunara, but Lunara got a big head start and was able to pick up the kill there. And we actually saw Tyrael attempt to dive in to get the finishing blow, had to force a Divine Shield to be used just to keep him alive. But KT, they were able to capitalize on a little bit of greed. As such, they will get the halftime show. Not by a huge amount, though. Their damage output on the Immortal is not very good.
Yeah, it's very slow, right? Alrek is not that crazy auto attacker like, let's say, Odin would have been.
Down one.
Yeah. Exactly. So Lunara's damage also is very low unless she win for that, not the unfair advantage, but the whatchamacallit, the extra damage against non-heroic targets.
No, natural poison, something like that. Natural toxin, nature's toxin.
No, I don't think that's it. But anyway, we're going to focus on that team fight here as SPT is about to turn heat. I'm actually going to look up that talent because I feel so bad right now for not knowing it. It used to be a super common talent. Let me just double check it real quick.
Nature's Culling.
Nature's Culling. There we go. Saved. The day was saved, and the casters only look a little less foolish right now.
Got although, the first
word. I mean, that's not too hard to guess, though, bro.
SPT cleaning up and able to take the Immortal and put the pressure back on. KT looking good for a couple seconds, but are now getting there. They're now getting pushed in. They're in trouble.
At least level 10 is about to hit, so T-Dye should really teleport as quickly as he can.
Finally.
Yep. The shields are needed to maybe stall out the process of losing structures a little bit more. Poison damage is okay, spreading out a little bit.
Cocoon is available, so the second this Immortal goes down with telekinesis, they have a engage opportunity here. Thornwood Vine as opposed to the Leaping Strike, just go for that poke potential.
Yep.
The stuns, nicely done.
But SPT is not taking any chances here right now. They do not want to get caught off guard. Of course, KT, they know they need to ideally force something right now, as otherwise the level 13 talent is just around the corner, and SPT have all the time in the world to really stall this out now that they know where KT is rotating to.
Oh, Misaka, not in the best position. A Cocoon could try to be forced. They're going to try and kill him without it. Could Divine Shield have to be used here? Yes, it does. Ooh. Cocoon, it's Uther instead, though. No Divine Shield available. Is Tyrael going to teleport back in to try and sank, or is Uther about to be in trouble? Tyrael mounts Expulsion Zone. Zones away. Sonya from behind is a great distraction. Gets silent, though. Gets shielded strafe, dropping
Sank
huge
is good.
damage onto the backline. Sanctification goes down. And KT... Cocoon takes too long to pop, so SPT react, and this could be a full wipe as they chase down, looking for the last two. Anub flees behind the gate. He is the only survivor to tell the story.
Exactly. That was the ideal way of looking for a team fight when you have Ethereal Sanctification at your disposal. You wait until a lot of your team members drop significantly low, and then when the enemy team thinks they can get away with a couple of kills, you drop the panic button and save everyone in the nick of time. We see exactly what happened here. Beautiful Sanctification, the AoE shielding as well by Righteousness, causing a little bit more extra protection, and it was just a matter of time here. 1, 2, and 3. The grenades hitting all 3 members that were about to retreat, and only Anubarak surviving. That was another beautiful team fight. Just masterclass, and KT unfortunately gets schooled quite a bit.
Yes, they do. Now, Sonya has done something that I personally really agree with. You may look at this and go, Spell Shield, but there's not a huge amount of spell damage. Well, let's compare the other options here. Or not a huge amount of spell damage affected by Spell Shield outside of the poison. Shields drop. Silence. I'll talk about this in a second. So he chases forward. Good spear. Cleansed out, but the damage was done. As Sonya just whirlwinds through. Divine Shield is used. Cleans up one. Sonya is just tearing it up right now. Could try and look for Genshiro, but there's a Butcher who's a little bit nearer. Would be a lovely target. Butcher being forced to tunnel out. So I will talk about this a little bit. The poison is blocked by the spell shield, so it's already good there. Life funnel is interrupted too often by Alarak and Anubarak, so you're not going to get too much value from that. And Mystical Spear, when you already have Composite Spear, is just asking to accidentally find yourself in the backline when you don't want to be without your team.
Yeah. Keep in mind though, Spell Shield does, like many people keep forgetting that Spell Shield can actually be used manually if you change the way it works. It's just that most casual players never do it, myself included, because it's just way too tedious. But I think a player of Soap's caliber can actually use the activatable component as well against an Alarak burst combo, giving him a lot more resilience against those mage heavy characters. So I love the Spell Shield, especially in pro play where it can be used much more efficiently.
So we see SPT trying to chase down Neptune, trying to finish him off. He gets dropped to half health, but this time Neptune able to survive without a Nubarak, though. They don't really have a frontliner. Nope, Neptune died anyway, a little bit later on. Genshiro fleeing for his life and will get out, at least temporarily. Tyrael wants to change that. Shield having to be used by Tassadar to keep Genshiro alive.
Oh, that was a questionable Sanctification. I think Misako was just afraid of dying here to the poison in the end, but looks like he's going to get chased down anyway. No, he makes it out alive, so it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, the distracting Shenjiao there, turning it round to see it gets taking a lot of damage, but the shield was able to keep him alive. Butcher makes it back behind the wall. Cocoon's down, but they can't do anything about it.
Ooh, actually, the Mara is now isolated. But she bullies everyone out. She needs to be so careful, though. The Immortal is pushing already. Oh, Soap!
The spear actually just hit Butcher there, dragging Sonya forward, but Soap kept going because he was already in burrow charge. That's a cool interaction that you don't see very often. But Butcher was the one who went down here. Sieg is now desperately on the defense.
Yeah, and during all that time, of course, the Immortal was pushing like a champ in that bottom lane. The shield is pretty damn powerful, and Lunara unfortunately also baited the following teammates into that kind of unnecessary skirmish, and unfortunately Anubarak also had to pay with his life there. All of her allies were so low in mana, there was no way they could have really helped and sustained her. So we see another kill though, this time against SPT, and ZZH is no more. But keep in mind though, in ghost form, Uther is actually very, very dangerous because he keeps everyone alive. And SPT, they just go for the Hail Mary code, they go for the core, but can they do it?
They're rushing it and they're dropping low, but it doesn't matter.
They did it.
The Immortal's at full health, so half health, so there's nothing they can really do about it. Mortal will finish off the core, and that is going to be GG. SPT, despite all completely wiping, they knew the numbers, and they are able to take game number 1.
Very well played, very calculated, and let's face it, Teacher, even if they had gotten wiped there, they were so far ahead structurally that KT could have never retaliated in time. So even if they had gotten, let's say, a fort at the very maximum, SPT would have been like, yeah, sure, so you got a fort, but we just destroyed 90% of your core's health, causing us to have this permanent winning condition just by backdooring. So you can never really go outside of your base. You can never really go for those Immortals anytime, any soon. So yeah, I like it. I really do.
I like it too. It was well executed. KT looked okay at times. They were definitely good at getting the picks. Once again, the Anub and the Alarak did exactly what they needed to do. Just a bit too much dying, unfortunately.
Too much dying indeed, Tetcher. And I just can't help but feel that SPT is truly unbeatable in this season, at least for the lower to mid-tier teams. It's just that they're so far superior in almost any aspect of the game in terms of how they approach the map, in terms of how flexible they're drafting, in terms of how good they are mechanically. There's just only so much you can do. But if the enemy team then also doesn't really do their homework correctly and doesn't even take those 2 strongest battlegrounds into account, I think it's almost just a gifted win, to be honest.